So someone said, Harley, you guys keep attacking poor Kevin Gianni, poor fence sitter Gianni. You guys keep attacking him. What gives, man? What gives of you guys attacking, you angry, mean, nasty vegans? You're attacking Gianni, and now he's got some emotional stress disorder. What's up with that, Durianrider? That's mean. You guys are mean. Picking on poor old Gianni because he didn't invite you to his great health debate. What's up with that? What I find interesting is people use our passion. They confuse it with aggression. Actually, they choose to confuse it with aggression. Because aggression is like physical violence, and we're not into that. That's why we're vegan, yeah? Vegans are about peace, loving, nurturing, compassion. People say, Harley, you're so mean to humans. It's like, it's just words. It's just typing on a keyboard. It's just YouTube videos. So I'm not going out there physically bashing people. I'd never do that. That's not what I'm into. I'm not into that. I might do a bit of kickboxing, but I'm not into beating people up, so please don't get confused with that. So people say, Harley, but you're violent, and it's like, we are vegans, man. We're into eating stuff, this non-violence, some of us are fruitarians because they believe you shouldn't eat carrots. Personally, I'm not a fruitarian. I'll eat carrots, I'll eat celery, so maybe I'm a celery killer. That's the closest to violence I get. Eating celery. You know what I mean? So, but what we're finding is with this great health debate coming up, Gianni, the organiser, he's sort of got a pretty one-sided. He's got some pretty politically correct debaters, on there, and he's just got all the anti-vegan crew. So it's basically like putting someone like Mac Danzig, who's a vegan UFC fighter, putting Mac Danzig in the octagon of the UFC champs against 10 guys, and when he gets beaten, you can say, oh, see, the vegan diet was deficient. According to the standard American diet, the standard Australian diet, you don't get enough protein, and where do you get your carbohydrates from? And I mean, sure, 39% of the Americans are B12 deficient, according to a recent Tufts University, but you can't be a vegan because you get B12 deficient. But I mean, that's right. McCullough doesn't recommend a vegan diet, but he sells B12 supplements, and so does Mark Sisson, and Sally Fatton's just putting on extra weight. And I don't know what to see. I'm just going to sit on the fence. My bum's getting sore, so I'll have a bit of a break and do something else. But I'll be back to sit in the fence soon because I just go what the status quo says. I don't really follow my heart. I just follow the money, follow the status quo, follow what's sort of hip and cool. Vegan was hip and cool. I'll try it for a bit. I'll undereat. I'll get scared of carbohydrates. I'll get dropped off the deep end. I'll tell everyone else you can't do it. It's like driving your car at 200k an hour. When you have an accident, you can say cars are dangerous. You can ride your bike with no helmet, and when you get brain damage, you say cycling's dangerous. You know what I mean? You can drink water with lead in it and say, oh, water's bad for you. So, again, it's, we're into non-violence, we're into passionate debates. That's what we're into. So when people say we're mean and nasty, they obviously don't like our message, so they're trying to shoot the messenger. Literally, people out there with gun licenses and 12-gauge shotguns shooting animals. And I'm sure if we were in the field, they might go, whoops, I accidentally shot Durianrider. I thought it was a duck. Sorry, you know what I mean? So when people say that we're violent and, vegans, they're all about compassion to animals, but what about human beings? Well, I'll tell you what. This is the internet, this is a cyberspace, this is keyboards, this is words. We're not out there putting meat hooks into people's faces like animals get daily. We're not into caging people in cages and shouting vegan propaganda at them. We're not into drowning people in the water like when people pull a fish out of the water. We're not into that, you know what I mean? So we're into compassion for all living creatures, you know what I mean? Except for Sally, maybe. So when people say, oh, what about the animals? You look after the animals, but you forget the humans. Animals don't have voices. They can't just get up and walk away or file a copyright complaint on YouTube. They can't do that. Humans can. You can speak up for yourself. You've got a voice. You can speak up. That's what the internet's about, community, sharing opinions. People take it personally. Maybe they need more carbohydrates. Maybe they actually need to listen to the message and go, does this really apply to me? Can this benefit me? Does this benefit me, the animals, and the planet? It does. So let's maybe listen more into it and let's end the carb phobia. Let's end the fruit phobia. You know what I mean? That's a big problem for people. They get so freaking hungry, and are back full circle back to standard American diet. Oh, actually no, it's local now. It's a bit of organic, so it's not actually a standard American diet. Well, actually, nutritionally it is, calorically it is. So call it local, organic, still a standard American diet. Well, actually, we could call it a SOLAD, Standard Organic Local American Diet. There you go, SOLAD dieters. But again, you know, I'm underneath my top sort of sarcasm is an aquifer of sincerity. I generally want to help people. I want to point out people's mistakes, because anyone can be a stone thrower with no real solutions. But it's rare where a person can stand up and say, hey, this is where you went wrong, here's some objective information, it makes sense, it's fun, you can do it, I believe in you, believe in yourself. You know, it's not like we're asking people to be breatharians or some crazy nonsense like that. We're saying to people, eat plants. If you want to eat raw foods, great, raw foods are top. Eat plants. Leave the animals alone. It's better for you, the planet, and the animals. I mean, people are saying, oh, we should stop farming, and what we should do is just eat wild animals. Great, we're already doing that in the ocean. We've depleted over 90% of the world's large fish stocks. The tuna commercial fishing industry will be bankrupt, estimated in 15 to 20 years. Bankrupt, non-existent commercial tuna fisheries. Wild fish, you know what I mean? So when people say we should go out into the wild and shoot deers and bears and moose, I mean, Daniel Vitalis is saying, don't eat bananas, but go out with your 12-gauge shotgun or your semi-automatic rifle with your telescope, because that's natural, having a telescope on your gun, and you've got to shoot a big moose, and you've got to cut it up with a knife made from in a factory, and you've got to eat it, because that's natural, but bananas aren't natural. But shooting a 2-ton animal with a high-powered semi-automatic weapon with a $600 telescope lens, that's natural. And so again, you know, I make a lot of fun at people. I don't hate anyone, but I'm really passionate about getting the best advice out there, because I see so many people getting off the deep end. They get fat, they get anorexic, they get drug addicted, they get chronically fatigued, they lose their fitness, they lose their sanity, they just go full circle, beat themselves up because they get put in these starvation diets or whatever. So, you know, crazy stuff like that. So when people out there say we're mean and nasty, stop, look and listen. Are we mean and nasty? What do we represent? What do us vegans represent? You know what I mean? Do we go and bashing people? We might bash your ears, but we want to bash it physically. You know what I mean? We're going to tell you information that's going to reduce your chance of cancer, obesity, osteoporosis, schizophrenia. I'm already a bit crazy anyway, so take the schizophrenia off. You know, diabetes type 2. Who on earth in the Weston A. Price Foundation high-fat carb-phobic crew is clinically reversing diabetes type 2 like Dr. Neil Barnard is? Read Dr. Neil Barnard's book, Reversing Diabetes. You know what I mean? That's where it's at. So it's all this stuff about, you know, we're aggressive and violent. So please, let's not confuse passion for aggression. You know what I mean? Vegans generally want to help you. We just, you know, we want to help people, and it's desperate, you know what I mean? I've been a vegan for 10 years, so I've had literally debates every day for the last 10 years. I like that. I like sharing people with good information. You know, so people want to help you. Us vegans, we want to help you decrease cancer, heart disease, osteoporosis, getting a fat ass, getting a chubby neck. We want to help you remove all these things. We want to help create a better planet. We don't want to chop more trees down to make more grass-fed animals. I mean, we have feedlot operations because if we had grass-fed animals, we'd literally need to take 5 extra planets. In Australia now, we have over 85% of Australia's forest flattened for grazing and livestock. So this whole grass-fed bullshit, pun intended, you know, excuse me, it's an absolute joke. Grass-fed animals still have excess cholesterol, saturated fat. Oops, all those Weston A. Price crew, they say that you should eat more saturated fat, more cholesterol. That's just like saying, if someone has an accident from speeding in their car, they're driving too slow. If someone has, they need to drive faster. If someone has a heart attack from high cholesterol, saturated fat, they're not eating enough. They need to eat more saturated fat and cholesterol. It's insane. That's aggressive, mean, nasty advice. You know what I mean? Eat the plants. Be kind to yourself and the animals and the planet. Have fun. Don't be afraid to speak your truth. Mean what you say what you mean. And those that mind do not matter. And those that matter do not mind. Follow your heart above all. Forget the science. If you're not into science, that's the only science experiment you really need at the end of the day. In your heart. Follow your heart. Thanks for watching.